The Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe testifying behind closed doors on Capitol Hill today on the Russia investigation. Lawmakers on the House Intelligence Committee expected to question Deputy Director McCabe on FBI agent Peter Strzok, whom Special Counsel Robert Mueller reassigned after his team, or from his team, after the agent sent text messages mocking President Trump. Strzok was also part of the team investigating Hillary Clinton's emails. This comes as the Special Counsel investigators told the Washington Post that the Russia probe will likely continue through next year, despite attorneys for President Trump saying they hope it wraps up soon. House and Senate investigators, along with the Special Counsel Robert Mueller, are looking into Russia's meddling in the 2016 presidential election and possible collusion with members of Team Trump. The White House and Russian President Vladimir Putin have repeatedly said there was no collusion. Let's turn to Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Hello.
Hi, Shep.
Much has been said about, well, first of all, obtaining emails in regard to this investigation. It has been widely said Trump's lawyers believe this was illegal. This is a horrible thing that's happening. Which is ridiculous.
Look, when they ran the transition, the GSA, the Government Services Administration, which is part of the executive branch, pursuant to a statute, gave them the computers, the software, and the server. And every time they went on those computers, every time you go on any GSA-owned computer, you get a notice. Notice, there's no privacy. The email you send and any response to it belongs to the federal government.
Yep. Just like here, belongs to the company.
Correct. So there are tens of thousands of emails that were sent and received by transition people. Many of these former transition people are now White House staffers working in the West Wing. Okay, that's the background. Bob Mueller wants to look at the emails. There's three of them. You can send an FBI agent to knock on the door and ask for them. He can tell a grand jury why he needs them, and if the grand jury gives the subpoena, they can serve the subpoena. They can go to a judge and get a search warrant like they did with Paul Manafort. Judges will not give search warrants when the documents are held by a third party because there's no danger of it being lost. So Mueller's people either, we don't know which, Shep, knocked on the door and said, do you have these emails, or got a subpoena from a grand jury. Perfectly legal. And it's done every day of the week.
A matter of course.
Correct.
To not get them would be derelict.
Correct. Here's the kicker. The people in the West Wing who used to work in the transition have already been interviewed by the FBI. At the time of those interviews, they probably did not know, because we didn't learn this until 2 days ago, that Mueller had and read their emails. Question, did they tell the truth? It remains to be revealed.
But the special counsel's office now knows.
Yes.
If they told the truth or not.
Yes.
Going back to during the campaign, the two campaigns were warned, both the Clinton campaign and the Trump campaign.
By the FBI.
By the FBI. Russia is trying to do bad stuff.
Right.
And at that time, we now know, by admissions and court documents, that the members of Team Trump had meetings with the Russians.
Right.
And the FBI said at the time, this according to the reporting of NBC News and our old friend from the Wall Street Journal, Carol Lee, who's now with NBC News, you have to, you got to let us know. You got to call us right away. Well, they had already had a meeting. The number of contacts with the Russians is very, very high.
Well, I don't know the number. The last time I looked, you and I did it together, it was in excess of 30.
Yeah.
30 contacts in the Trump
that were
campaign.
Initially denied.
Correct. We're starting in June of 15, and we're going to November of 16. So we have a 14 or 15-month period in there. That is probably what Assistant Director McCabe is testifying about now. Testimony that I ardently wish had been open to the public so that the American public is not treated like children, where the congressmen are allowed to know what the questions were and the answers are, but we're not.
We really don't have much. We know what's public, but we don't have a real idea of what the 17 attorneys working for Robert Mueller have learned, have confirmed.
We do not, but we know that the advice that the president's lawyers gave him in August, that this will be over by Thanksgiving, is absolutely untrue. Here it is Christmas, and it's ratcheting up. We also know that there have been no denials to the Washington Post reports this morning that this is likely to go through 2018. And we also know that Bob Mueller and team are meeting with the president's lawyers at the end of this week. We don't know what they're going to say.
Who, based on the evidence, based on what's happened, who's in the line of fire now? Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner's in the line of fire. Donald Trump Jr. is in the line of fire. And, of course, the president's in the line of fire. We don't know what Bob Mueller has. I am critical of a lot of our colleagues who say there's no there there. You know what, Shep? This is a jigsaw puzzle with 100,000 pieces. And we see a piece here and a piece there, and everybody's like, it doesn't make any sense. They're not connected. It takes time to amass all these evidence, all these pieces of evidence, so that we see the jigsaw puzzle completed. And that's what Mueller and company are trying to do.
Indictments and confessions
Yes.
we've had thus far.
Yes. Yes. Look, General Flynn was exposed to 60 years in jail. If he had been convicted of every charge that was out there and he'd been sentenced to the max, he's now exposed to 6 months. How did he go from 60 years down to 6 months? He must have given them something. We won't find out what that is until we get to that point in the investigation.
But they know.
Bob Mueller knows. We don't. Yeah.
Judge, it's nice to see